Hello, Wharton students. Welcome to Introduction to Computer Science Python, Lesson 1, Data Types. In this video, we'll talk about the three main data types commonly used in Python, and then learn how to check and change data types of a variable. First of all, what are data types? Data types define what kind of a data a variable can hold. This is important because it determines what kind of operations can be performed on the variable and how the data is stored. In Python, there are several data types, including numeric, string, and Boolean, as well as others like dictionaries, sets, and sequences. However, in this lecture, we'll focus on three main data types: numeric, string, and Boolean. Numeric types can hold numbers, and string can hold sequence of characters used to represent text, such as sentences. Booleans represent truth values, either true or false. So numeric types are just numbers. There are two types of numeric variables: integers and floats. Integers are whole numbers without any decimal point, such as 1, 78, -200, which are useful for counting discrete items. Floats are real numbers that include a decimal point, such as 1.0, 3.14, or -2.0. Floats are used when more precision is needed, for example, in measurements. Strings are sequences of characters enclosed in quotes, either single or double. Sometimes data that looks numeric may be stored as string, such as 17%. This means you cannot perform mathematical operations on it until you remove the non-numeric characters and change the data type to numeric. Boolean data types, often referred to as bools, can only take two forms: true or false. Capitalization is important here. You have to capitalize T and F. Since equal sign is an assignment operator where you assign a value, and a double equal sign is a comparison operator, which is used to compare two values, and Booleans are not strings, so there are no quotes around them. They are essential for controlling the flow of programs through conditional statements. For example, if we ask Python if 2 plus 3 equals 5, it'll return true. Then if we compare 4 and 9, it will return false because they are different numbers. Sometimes you can tell the data type just by looking at it, like 1.0 is likely a float. However, it's not always obvious. For instance, what looks like a number, such as 1994, might actually be a string. So to be sure, we can manually inspect the type using a simple function called type. This function will tell us the data type of a value we're working with. We can actually change the data types using built-in functions. For example, the float function will convert data to a float. Int function, we can actually change the data types using built-in functions. For example, the float function will convert data to a float, string converts it to a string, int converts it to an integer, and bool converts it to a Boolean. Any number will be defined as true. However, an empty number will result in false. Also, changing a float to an integer will result in rounding the float into the nearest whole number. This time, let's assign 2024 to the variable called year. Then let's change the data type of year from an integer to a float. Now, you can verify that the number automatically gained a decimal point. Changing a string to an integer can be easily done with int function or a float function. Let's see. You can try a float in 2024. You can see that 2024.0. Okay, so this way we can directly check the data type of any variable very easily and change it. They're essential for controlling the flow of programs through conditional statement, which we'll cover later in the course. Make sure to practice these concepts in your Jupyter notebook to get a hands-on understanding. Thanks for watching and see you in the next lecture.